Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com and I'm in Bluefield, Virginia. Most of my videos have been in Bluefield, Virginia lately. And I'm going to be talking today about the oldest business still operating in Bluefield, Virginia, and that's the Bluefield Monument Company. But before we get into that, I want to point out a house over here on the left. It's beautiful, beautiful blue house. So I'm sure all of you have driven by it right there. See it on the left? I'm going to put up a picture of it and talk about it. One of the owners of the Bluefield Monument Company, this was their house. So we're going to talk about that, along with other owners and just the company in general, throughout the rest of this video, basically. There was a newspaper article back in 1991 when the property was up for sale. It was James and Jean Miller were the owners of the two-story house on 229 Virginia Avenue, and it was to be auctioned off back then, but it was talking about this house, and this was the James Powell home. And James Powell was one of the owners at one point in time of the Bluefield Monument Company, so I had to point it out since I'm driving to the Monument Company. But this house was built in 1904, Wedgwood blue in color. It's on a three-lot property, bay windows on the first and second floors. There is a front porch, a side patio, of course, made of marble and granite. Of course, Bluefield Monument Company. On the main floor, there was black and white checkerboard floor tile. In the parlor, it was large enough for a piano, a love seat, and a cabinet. And there was a big iron and brass chandelier. To the left of the front door was the formal living room with a country scene mural painted on the wall, and of course a fireplace. There were 40 windows, some adorned with custom drapes. Anyway, you could tell that house was beautiful. It still is beautiful. But right now we're turning right here. Here's the Bluefield Monument Company. I'm just giving you a good shot of it. I'm going to go up here and turn around. I'll cut part of the video out. But we're going to talk about that for the rest of this time. I could talk more about that house, I guess. Oakwood stairway, four spacious bedrooms, uh, a sewing room. It's just it's a beautiful house. You can tell it's huge and beautiful. Anyway, let's talk about the Bluefield Monument Company. So it opened in 1922. Like I said, it is the longest running, continuously running business here in Bluefield, Virginia. And we're just going to continue this drive on through Bluefield. I'm going to be going up all kinds of different places and different streets. Some of them you have not seen in any of my videos before, but I'm not going to be talking about the streets or any of the other businesses. I'm just going to be talking about Bluefield Monument Company. So like I said, opened in 1922. And the owners were Wright and Matthews. So it's funny how the first newspaper articles I was looking into was like 1930. And it talked about, little ads in the paper for the company. And it said the owners were Wright and Matthews. Well, H.A. Wright and J.E. Matthews, I believe, were the actual first owners. And I found some interesting stuff on H.A. Wright. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, his dad was in Bedford County and was a mason. So obviously he learned some skills, taught them, the son learned some of his dad's skills, and maybe that helped up with, the monument company with the granite and the marble and stuff. I could see that happening. But anyway, um, after his death, there was listed an A.G. Wright, and then Matthews was not listed anymore, but Vera Wright was, and Vera was the daughter of H.A. Wright. I found her obituary. I found everybody who was listed early on. I found their obituaries or their parents' obituaries. I found where H.A. Wright uh, had property towards Abington. I thought that was pretty neat. He had like 77 acres towards Abington. So that was pretty interesting to learn. But Vera, there is a great little article, and I'm going to read it now just because it's so cute. Just, well, because it came out in 1940s. Let me read it to you now. It's actually March of 1941, and it says, Miss Vera Wright bosses huge job. If you don't believe Miss Vera Wright, junior member of the Bluefield Monument Company, takes her job seriously, you should have seen her bossing the job of unloading 70,000 pounds of raw granite, which was unloaded last week. Miss Wright donned a denim coat, work hat, and boots, and disregarded the bad weather, completed the job in one day. I think that little write up in the newspaper back in 1941 is crazy. You know, just how it was written. It's just like it had to be newsworthy that a woman was doing a job. I know that's uh, it was a different time. It was, totally different back then. And but it's great to see, she was a pioneer for women. One of many, I guess. Of course, many around the world, but one for this area too. Working a job that would be potentially more of what they would have considered a man's job. So it was newsworthy back in the day, 1941. Anyway, but she ended up with being secretary and treasurer to the company, and worked there for many years. In the obituary, it talks about her being a professor of mathematics at the Martha Washington University, or is it Martha Washington College, and that she had retired to Illinois. But still, I thought that was really neat. She was also Dean of Women at that university, so I thought that was pretty neat. Anyway, at that same time, when she was around at the Monument Company, another important figure for Bluefield was James Powell, and that was the person whose house we were first talking about. James Powell was also very involved with the company. He was the son of George and Edith Powell. He was president and owner of the Monument Company, Bluefield Monument Company, like I've been talking about. He was a member of the First United Methodist Church of Bluefield. He was on the board of trustees at the church, board of director for the Bank of Tazewell County, the board of the Bluefield Union Mission, board of the Bluefield Auto Club, board of the Children's Temple Mission, Bluefield Virginia Rescue Squad board, and the Kiwanis Club. He was very active in the community, but a member of the University Club. Gosh, there was just so many other things. But he's actually buried in Maple Hill Cemetery, which is a cemetery I still need to go into and record one day. So one day I'll get that out to you all too. It's a really nice older cemetery here in Bluefield, Virginia, if you all are not familiar. Uh, so I found newspaper articles talking about him and his father going to the World's Fair in 1939. I thought that was pretty interesting. But basically, I believe he sold or he left the company in 1984, but he died in 1989. And of course, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that house ended up going up for sale or auction was 1991. I'm not sure anything about who owns it now or anything really more recent on that house. And honestly, I don't have a lot of information on the Monument Company right now, specifically, 2025 here. But I do have a neat article that was published in the newspaper and a couple more names that pop up in the newspaper associated with Bluefield Monument Company that popped up in the newspaper for little articles. One of which there was a convention, and it talked about James Powell going to the convention and that Vera Wright was going to be there. But it also mentioned Bill Bowers, and the convention was in St. Paul. It was just a cute little, one page or one paragraph write up in the paper, 1950. And another one I found from 1935. It says S.C. Latham, formerly a salesman at the Bluefield Monument Company, who has been located in Coburn, has moved his family back here and will again be connected with the firm, the same firm. I thought that was pretty neat. There was a little paragraph in the paper in 1935 about that, mentioning him, and he worked there. So I thought, well, why not? Since I'm talking about him, I'll mention that too. But the main article that I seen that was really nice came out in the 1987, I believe. Let me see. 1989. I'm going to read the majority of this article to you. A proper memorial or headstone on a grave of a loved one is what really caring is all about. Donald Neal, owner and operator of the Bluefield Monument Company Incorporated, located in downtown Bluefield, Virginia, said a memorial of a magnificent beauty stands forever in solemn dignity as a token of love and respect. The business, which has been in operation since 1922, offers a wide selection of EGA certified memorials, including flower vases, bronze markers, and for garden cemeteries. Various types of monuments and gravestones were available at the business. The company recently built the Veterans Monument in the shape of a pentagon for the Richlands area war heroes, Neal said. Bluefield Monument also has contract for a miners' memorial that was constructed in Bossavane, Virginia. The company employs 5 full-time employees and several people part-time basis. Neal said the goal of the business is to serve our customers with honesty and integrity. The business is unique because it does all the work in-house. In doing the work, stone has been obtained from as far away as Africa. Neal said that most of the stone actually comes from Georgia. Covering about a 100-mile radius, the Monument Company can personalize markers. We have put a lot of objects on gravestones, Neal said, everything from butterflies to a train to a frog to a coal miner. He said that the business can provide hand-tooled lettering for gravestones and markers if requested. The Bluefield Monument is the only Rock of Ages authorized dealer in the area. And the last paragraph talks about how he it was James Powell and Vera Wright who had it before Neal purchased it in 1984. But Donald Neal actually worked there since 1952. And then Donald Neal died, I believe it was 2012. And he was also a very prominent member of Bluefield. Uh, he did a lot. He was a skilled craftsman, but he worked for the Tazewell County Chamber of Commerce, served the Tazewell County Council, Bluefield Chamber of Commerce, uh, which awarded him the Robert Francis Hamilton Award in 2020 or 2006 for superior community service. He was part of the Kiwanis, the Union Mission. He's done a lot too. There's actually a building um, for him with his name. It's the Donald Neal Building, I believe, is what it was called. I'm trying to find the article here. I just had it and I lost it that quick. But anyway, um, at that point, after he died or when he quit, he still used to come into work, but his son had taken it over. Now I'm not quite sure who owns it now. Maybe it's still his son because that was just 2012 when he died, and he had left the company in 2006. So it's not been that long. But I wanted to give you some history of that company from a long time ago up till pretty current. Like I said, I don't have anything for right now, but it's pretty neat because it is the longest running business, continuously operating business in Bluefield, Virginia. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the little video. This was actually filmed back in October, but I'm really behind in making videos. I've got a lot of other things going on. So anyway, this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments so I can help you plan your travel adventure. And I'm always driving around Bluefield. Uh, when I come in, so I'm always recording something for somebody. So if you have anything you want me to record, give me a yell. I still have a lot to do, but there's always room for more on my list. So talk to you all later.